You're listening to the Sales Hunter podcast. My name's Mark Hunter, and what are we talking about this week? I'm talking about overcoming the fear of prospecting. Ooh, does that send chills down your spine when you've got to make some prospecting calls, when you got to reach out to people you don't know? Hey, I'm going to show you how to tackle it, and the show begins right now.
You're listening to the Sales Hunter podcast with Mark Hunter, where the focus is to help you as a sales leader sell with confidence and integrity. And now here's your host.
Overcoming the fear of prospecting. Hey, let me tell you something. It inflicts everybody. I know people who've been in sales for 20, 30 years who are incredibly good at being account managers, but when it comes to prospecting, they just no, they feel somebody else has got to do it. It's somebody else's job. Hey, let me tell you something. Overcoming the fear of prospecting is realizing one thing, that you can make a difference in the lives and the businesses of people you reach out to. You see, what is prospecting all about? It's about helping others see and achieve what they did not think was possible. Now, I've said that before because that's my definition of sales, but think about it. Sales doesn't just happen. Sales begins with prospecting. Somebody somewhere creates an opportunity to have a conversation. You see, prospecting is where it all begins. That's why I say it's helping others see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. So how do you overcome this fear? Here's very simple technique that I want you to do. One, I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to draw a line down the middle of it, write down names of 5 or 10 of your best customers on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, write down how you helped them. Not what you sold them, but how you helped them. Just write that down. And when you get done making that list, I want you to look at it and I want you to give yourself a big hug and go, yeah, I'm good. You see, what's interesting is none of those customers would be your customers if you had not had a conversation, if you had not established a relationship, regardless of how they came to you. They may have come to you because you inherited them as an account manager or whatever. I don't care. But still, you created an outcome for them that they value. See, this is what prospecting is all about. It's about helping others be able to achieve that same value. So let's take this one step further. You've got this list here, and now you say, wow, I gotta find some prospects. I gotta pick. Here's what I want you to do. Before you begin prospecting, I want you to pick up the phone and call one of those people on that list. You call one of the people on that list, and you know what they're going to say? Hey, thanks for calling. I'm glad. Yeah, it's really working out. And you can get into a conversation with them about how they're benefiting from what it is that you sold them. What does this do? It not only has them talking to you about how wonderful it is what you sold them, but it gives you a high level of confidence. I tell people when they're gun shy to make those prospecting calls, you make the first call to a favorite customer. You make a first call to a great customer. You make a first call to a great and you let that conversation actually jazz you, actually get you excited. Then the third step that you do, so you've taken this piece of paper, you've made this list. 2, you've then reached out, you're calling. Then what I want you to do is I want you to set yourself a very simple objective. Set yourself a very simple objective. It might be 2 calls. It might be 3 calls. I don't care what it is. Or it might be just sending 2 emails, 3 emails. You set yourself a number that you know you can accomplish. You see, one of the things that sends fear down the minds of people when it comes to prospecting is the fact that, well, I'm going to set this number and there's no way I'm going to achieve it. So you set the number so low that you know you can achieve it. And here's the last technique. I want you to stop and ask yourself, and maybe you need to go out and do a Google search. Do a Google search and see how many salespeople got maimed, got mutilated, lost an arm, got stabbed, got shot, lost blood because they made a prospecting call or they sent a prospecting email. It's never happened. It's never happened. Now, here's a whole situation. You say, Mark, you don't understand. I call people and they yell at me. And then, hey, here's the whole deal. You don't know what that person went through before you called them. You see, I equate it to when something like that happens to me. It's just, I'm driving through an intersection. I've got a green light. I've got a green light. And yet here comes a car running a red light because they're deeply immersed in a conversation, or they're on their phone sending a text message or whatever, and boom, they plow into me. I get hit. You see, I got hit It wasn't my fault. Unfortunately, I was just in the right place. Well, might say the wrong place at the wrong time. And this is the way it is with your prospecting. You have no idea what was going on in the mind or the lives of the person that you reached out to just before you called them, just before they read your email, just before they saw your text message. It's okay. Just let it go, relax, and you move on to the next person. You see, overcoming the fear of prospecting is simply going through the steps that I just laid out. What have I shared with you? I've shared with you several techniques, and I want you to apply them one after another. And what you'll do is you'll find yourself overcoming the fear. And here's the last one. It all comes down to your mindset. It really does. Because I'll tell you what, the mindset you have going into your phone call, going into your email, is going to determine the results you have coming out. You see, if you go in saying, oh, there's nothing to be had here, they're going to yell at me, they're going to scream at me, they're going to do something to me, then guess what? You will. But if you go in saying, hey, you know what? This is going to be a great call. This is going to be a great call. It's amazing how you'll listen better. You'll hear better. You'll communicate better. You'll find more opportunities. Is it going to turn every prospect into a customer? No. But you know what? It's going to have you quickly overcoming the fear of prospecting. Hey, you've been listening to another The Sales Hunter podcast. My name is Mark Hunter. Each week, 2 episodes, one a short one like this, and a second one where we do a deep dive interview with a sales expert. The Sales Hunter podcast, my objective is to give you insights, give you ideas that you can influence and impact people so that you can be the most effective salesperson out there. Why? Because like I said earlier, it's to help others see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. Hey, my name is Mark Hunter, The Sales Hunter. Check out the website, would you? thesaleshunter.com, all kinds of stuff there. And hey, do subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app.